Okay, so in the last video I hit Command-Shift-I and I imported these 3 files. You can see that they're all different lengths. Sarah's is very short, it's less than a minute long. You have this song that's like 4 minutes and 15-ish seconds, and then you have this podcast short from Radiolab, which is around 13 minutes. You can see that by looking at the timeline. You can see that the song and the What a Slinky Knows, the sound wave seems very dense and very wide, whereas Sarah's seems much smaller. That's because that they are professionally made. I'm going to add one more thing to this video. I'd like to go through this menu. You can see that this What a Slinky Knows and this song, Ribs, that these are stereo tracks. That means the left track goes into your left ear and the right track goes into your right ear. There might be some differences. You can see that right here in this Ribs track. You can see that this detail here, let's zoom to this selection, there is some minute differences here that you can see, and there might be some in What a Slinky Knows. I'm going to zoom back out again. More. Okay, what I'm going to do with this track is I am going to, go to tracks, and I am going to go to stereo track to mono, and that will hopefully shrink this Ribs track, and that will shrink this What a Slinky Knows track down to mono, which is generally easy for us newbies to handle. So that's going to take about 12 seconds or 7 seconds. And I did that by going to tracks and then stereo to mono. You can do it. Cool. So now all of these tracks are mono tracks and they're easier for us to work with. I'd like to zoom into one of these panes. If you zoom in here, or if you look just at this track for Ribs, there's this menu here that's just for this track. There's a couple of things. This X will delete this track. I can do that. I'm bringing that back by hitting Command Z, which is undo. There's this down arrow, which has a whole set of menu things that we can do. The things that you might want is you can name your track something different. You can also move the track down a level in case you want to move it closer to something else. I'm going to leave it there. You can see that it is a mono track. It has the same rate as all the rest of the project. There are these 2 buttons. There's mute, which means it won't play if I try to play everything. That's very chaotic, which you probably can't hear because I have my headphones in, but it was playing Sarah's thing and this Radiolab thing at the same time, but not the Ribs song. There's also, you can hit solo, which will mute everything else except for this. This minus plus is the volume of this and how loud it is overall. You might want to play with this. This last one is the pan slider. This means that you're going to hear this in both your left and your right ears. If I slid this all the way to the left, that means you'll hear none of this in the right headphone and all of it into the left headphone, or vice versa. Generally, you want to leave everything in the center and not touch it. The last thing that you might be able to do is this bottom arrow will minimize this track, so that way once you're done editing, if you don't need to look at it and you want to look at 2 other things, you could potentially shrink it down so that way you don't actually have to, it doesn't have to take up that much screen space. So those are the few things that I would like to talk about in this video.